Good morning, my name's Tim Lloyd Yates. I'm the Director of Alive and I'm the advocate representing VOSCA for the Bristol Older People's Partnership Board. And I'm here to tell you about the last Older People's Partnership Board meeting, which was on the 25th of March. Now I've got some notes here to talk you through, so forgive me if I look down occasionally to consult my notes. The first item that was discussed was the Bristol Ageing Better bid to the big lottery fund, and this is a fund potentially for £6 million over 6 consecutive years. The good news is Bristol's through to the last 32 cities, through from an original shortlist of over 100 cities, and a partnership board has been formed, the Bristol Ageing Better board, which is chaired by Age UK, and it has representatives from the Bristol Older People's Forum, the Black and Ethnic Minority community, the Chinese community, the Retired and Senior Volunteers programme. So a very good representative board. And they've been putting together a bid for the second stage of the process. We've already passed stage 1 in effect. And that bid is due to be sent off, I think, today or tomorrow. After which there'll be a consideration process, and then we'll hear in October time whether we're through to the next stage, and obviously our likelihood of getting some money increases each stage that we go through. The Bristol Ageing Better board had this conversations process where they wanted to consult with older people in Bristol, those living independently, those who were accessing some kind of daycare or living in sheltered housing, and also care home residents as well. And they identified a number of people who were particularly at risk from what the main criteria for the fund is, which is loneliness and isolation, and as a result reduced quality of life. As a result of this, questionnaires went out to over 2,000 local people, and quite a few hundred of these forms were completed and then collated by Age UK. And they asked questions like, what do you know that's going on in Bristol that's particularly good? What does loneliness look like? What eases your loneliness and isolation? And then those responses were collated and entered into the bid. So encouraging stuff. They've also held a couple of conferences. The last one, which was at the M Shed, best part of 100 people actually went to that. And one of the most encouraging parts of this process has been the number of organisations who've made themselves known that are actually working with older people in the city. So I think between 80 and 100 organisations have now been along to these events or taken part in some aspect of the bid. And so it's been great for me personally and other people who are involved in older people's services in the city to realise, maybe for the first time in some cases, some of the amazing work that's being done in the city, because I certainly wasn't aware of all the organisations doing all the work. So I think one of the good things that could come out of this is a continuation of now we've joined up some of the dots of all the services that exist. It will be very good to produce a map and make sure that we keep these people joined up together, that we don't all slip off each other's radar again, because I think there's a lot of good work out there, and strength in unity, strength in numbers, and perhaps using every opportunity to present our case together, because there's some very good complementary courses out there. So it's my dearest wish that will happen. Moving on to the second agenda item, it was to do with the council budget. Obviously, the council budgets have been under a lot of pressure recently, and it was agreed at the Older People's Partnership Board that the impact of the budget proposals have had a disproportionately punitive effect, really, on older people's services in the city, not least when it comes to the people who are actually there to manage and commission for older people's services. Speaking as the founder of a small charity formed about 5 years ago, it took me a couple of years to understand who the commissioners were. It took me a couple of years to then build relationships with those commissioners. And now I find out that maybe a third of the commissioning team, including half a dozen people who we have excellent relationships with, have gone already. Amazing people like Liz Sutton, an amazing guru of social work, Matthew Arascog, who rewrote the care specification and turned it into something modern, and more than that, actually asked for input from the voluntary sector for the quality of life agenda for care home residents, which was something new. Paul Ainsworth, who's been a supportive commissioner, those people have gone, and I feel sad about that is the case. The council leadership and senior lead and structure has changed, so that there is no more adult social care. It's been merged with the People Directorate, which I believe now means it includes younger people as well as older people, but with one director controlling both of those functions. That's a lot of responsibility. That's what I'd say. That's a lot to manage for one person. We'll see what happens there. Good news, the Celebrating Age Festival is happening again this year. Some brilliant people on the board. Judith Brown, chair of the Bristol Older People's Forum. It's being managed by Shelley Hankins, which is fantastic. She's co-opted to Age UK to do that. And again, there are steering group meetings taking place as we speak. So brilliant that Bristol's at the forefront of celebrating age, as we should be. There's something called the Better Care Fund, was presented by Denise Hunt, the Programme Manager for Bristol City Council. Sounds good, sounds like it's a fund for better care. Actually it's not, it's another way of renaming transitional kind of budgets, if you like, to try to keep people out of hospital or to keep people supported in their own homes. It appears to be a new name for existing money. So, if you want to check that stuff out, there is a page called the Better Care Fund on bristol.gov.uk website. You might want to check that one out. There's a Safeguarding Adults Conference on the 19th of June at the Vassal Centre, and there's a few people speaking at that, including me. If you fancy hearing a passionate rant about safeguarding, come along and listen, and I'll try to oblige. There was a comment from the Vice Chair of the Older People's Partnership Board, Peter Taplin, saying he was disappointed that there were no councillors attending the meeting. Again, we would like to try to make sure that we have some kind of council representation at the meeting. It was agreed that Assistant Mayor Barbara Jank is going to come at a future meeting, and we look forward to meeting her there. And it was also noted actually that she's been very supportive individually to a lot of health and social care, volunteering and not-for-profit causes in the city, for which we're grateful. So that's the latest update from the Bristol Older People's Partnership Board. Tune in 3 months' time for another one.